It's a little bit noisy.
Hey guys, so you're doing? I'm Tyree in the background. You hear my daughters. I'm a huge Timex collector coming out of the U.S. I like to pride myself in being one of the biggest Timex collectors on YouTube. Yeah, go play. And as you can tell, I'm a father of two young girls who are pretty wild in the background right now.
So having the kids makes content creating quite challenging then.
Oh yeah. I've featured them on videos before to limited success. Peyton, close the door. Close the door. And go play. I've had them on a couple of videos before, but I've gotten them interested in watches. It's definitely a fun hobby.
Yeah, I've got a young lad myself.
Yeah, I was like, have you got him the first watch yet?
That's down to him, but he hasn't got his own watch yet. No.
Oh, see, you already got the one to pass down, but you gotta get him something digital. You know, like an Iron Man, little Casio or something. They can crawl around with it.
Well, I was thinking about a Timex. Timex do great kids watches.
Yes.
So maybe you'll have to help me find my son's first watch. You know.
Both my daughters have they probably both have almost 10 watches apiece now, almost all Timex. So I can help you pick one out.
Waiting for my first Timex watch. Are you ready to see my first Timex?
I am excited. So the question is, what made you? So like, I know I don't actually know which one it is. How long were you looking at it? Was it an impulse thing, or tell me about what made you pick this one out?
You don't know what it is. So I'll show you a little bit. I'll show you a little bit of the box, and you try and guess, right?
Okay.
What the collaboration is, okay?
Oh, that's the Pan Am.
Oh, it is it?
And that's my initial thought.
Yeah, you think so?
Are you about to shock me? That has to be it. It's that Pan Am blue.
Ooh.
And then there's three different Timex Pan Ams.
I think. Yeah.
No. Go, Peyton. Go play.
Everything good though?
No.
Well, you're a self-proclaimed expert because you are right. It is a Pan Am.
Okay.
Edition.
Now there's three different Pan Ams.
And here it is. Yeah. There's a few different ones. I saw this one and I fell in love with this. It looks absolutely stunning for a Timex because I've always poo-pooed cheaper brands, but until finding you online, I thought, wow, Timex actually do have some really nice little watches. So here it is. This is what I went for.
Oh, the classic.
Look at that.
I love that. I love that model. So interestingly enough, too, I actually not only collect the watches, but I collect all the different memorabilia. And so I have a huge collection of different Timex boxes. And the Pan Am, particularly the bottom half of the box, is one of the best ones. Yeah. That's awesome. The
Pan America pin.
I love the pin. There was actually a limited edition version of that watch that came with a bag. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, but
Let's have a look. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
So there was actually a limited edition version of that watch that came out with a Pan Am bag, and then I think there was even
a bag.
Yeah, there was a giveaway in which it came with a passport holder. Yeah,
like you put your passport in like a booklet thing.
Yes.
Oh, that's quite cool. That's nice. Have you seen the little cushion? The cushion, even the cushion has Pan Am on it.
Yeah.
The little cushion that it comes on. Look how great that is.
Do you know the history of the collab or why Pan Am is so prevalent?
I honestly couldn't tell you why Pan Am is so important. I know that like Rolex did some watches for Pan Am, but can you tell me a little bit more?
Yeah, so that's actually a part of the history. So Pan Am was the first airline that was really revolutionizing that Pan American travel from the U.S. to the U.K. and to Europe. And so they were looking
Uh-huh.
for a way to help their pilots stay on the same time zone, which is when they commissioned Rolex to come up with the
Right.
GMT. And so from that, they've
Mm-hmm.
gotten a lot of the historical references for whenever it comes to GMT watches. And so when Timex came out
Yeah.
with the Pan Am edition, they came out with 3 of them. Yours was the very first one. The second one was a chronograph, which is the one that I actually own, and it actually has a small plane at the 6 o'clock. And then the last one in the series is actually the GMT version, which is also the smallest, which comes in at about 39 millimeters. But
Uh-huh.
that's the history between the Pan Am and how it played into the relationship there.
That's interesting, man. That's actually quite interesting. So they did have uh, a kind of relationship then to do a collaboration.
Yeah, I think they're while Pan Am and Rolex obviously had the first watch pairing, I think Timex in its American roots tries to relate with many American companies. So even though they didn't originally have that watch connection together, I think the reference to the vintage Americana style and American like ingenuity in many
Mm-hmm.
ways is what makes like the pairing such a perfect combination between Timex and Pan Am.
Right, I'm going to take this swing tag off and try it on the wrist. Can you give us a wristwatch check today? What have you got on today?
So I didn't know that you were bringing the Pan Am, but I still brought a blue watch today. So I'm rocking
Oh yeah.
the M79 black and blue Batman. This is a part of the Q series automatic, and I have it on a strap habit, aftermarket strap. This is in reference to one of the watches they had in the 1979. Back then, it was during the quartz revolution, so they all came out in quartz, but they have updated it and added the automatic model. I probably have 20 variations of this watch. But yeah, I love the M79. So yeah, would you have on wrist before you put on the Timex?
Well, I haven't got the Timex on just yet, but I have the Omega Seamaster Professional on today.
Absolutely beautiful. And when did you get
It's a
that one?
great watch. Sorry?
And when did you get the Omega? When did you add that to the collection?
When did I add this to the collection?
Yeah.
I just finished a crossing from Antigua to Monaco on the yachts, and I had a little bit of.
Okay.
So I went to the Monaco casino, and they've got an Omega store inside, and then I could buy this said piece, and she said, yeah, why not? Treat yourself, and then yeah, I think I got it.
Congratulations.
But I need to start looking at more budget-friendly watches, which is why the Timex is looking very
Oh
appealing
yeah.
right now. I need to take off this. Is the crown has like a little plastic thing
Mm-hmm.
stopping it from operating?
Mm-hmm.
Oh look, the crown. Look at this signed crown. Look how nice that is.
And it's also on the strap as well. And you'll see like it has the blue on the inside of the
Yeah.
strap as well as the Pan Am logo on there.
Also has like these kind of rivet
Yeah.
style. This gorgeous blue inside.
It's such a good looking watch. Now, I
It
personally
is.
didn't like the wearing experience of the strap. What about you? Do you like it? It's a little thicker than I'm used to.
Right, let me just get it on wrist and I'll let you know. Right, already off the bat, it's where the rivets are. They're quite the strap is quite straight, so it's going to have to take some time to conform the wrist because it feels like it's it's quite tight here
Yes.
where the rivets are, where the leather is quite straight, you know. So it's going to take some time to bed in, but visually on the wrist
Looks good.
looks fantastic.
And when you take it
And
outside,
when I was looking at,
I said when you take it outside, that sunlight is gonna hit that blue and it's just gonna pop.
yeah, it definitely will. Did you know this style of watch? This is called a Flieger style,
Yes.
and Flieger is German for pilot, right? That's what
Mhm.
I was looking online.
I actually made a video about this recently because it talks about the difference between Flieger A and Flieger B.
Ah, I might have to take a watch of that.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a watch. But look at that. Look at the seconds hand. Has a little plane on it.
Yeah. It's such a not
Look how
such
great
a
that is.
small thing, but it's so cool to look at.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was a day date. I thought it was just a date. It was a
I
day
actually
date as
forgot it
well.
was a
That's
day date
nice.
as well.
Yeah, yeah. That's a fantastic little watch, isn't it? Case back
Yeah.
looks quite nice, quite tastefully done with the Pan Am logo.
Are you a fan of customized case backs? Because
Um,
I personally really enjoy them, but I understand they offer nothing for the watch.
I don't know if you mean personalized for like you, or if like a brand has like a collaboration, has a special case back. That's different.
Yeah.
If the brand, say if Rolex had like a special collab with some company and had a special case back, I think it'd be quite cool. But if I bought someone's watch and it had some, you know, someone else's engraving, I probably wouldn't be so happy. But I guess it's all just personal taste, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I was thinking more of the brand, but yeah, if you were to buy a watch and it says, to Sal or to Dave, and you're like, your name's not Dave, it kind of ruins a little bit of the
Yeah,
enjoyment. But I guess in some ways it could
yeah,
add to the story.
I don't mind if a brand like Rolex had like a collaboration. I know that they did have some collaborations with like Domino's Pizza and stuff. Rolex had Domino's Pizza watches. I think I've seen them. I thought they were quite funky.
They're also worth a lot of money now.
Yeah, I bet. So
I'm so
yeah,
glad. I'm so
yeah,
glad you can have your first Timex in the collection, and appreciate that
yeah.
Timex is more than just the Iron Man and the Easy Reader.
I'm so glad to have you on the show to show you my first proper Timex watch. You know, it's joining the collection. It's not bought, you know, ironically or anything.
Mm.
This is a nice little watch, and I'm going to wear this. You know, I'm going to wear this on the super yacht. You know, it's a lovely little piece, and it's great, and it's cheap as well, super affordable. It's 180 pounds sterling, which is not very much for a good looking little watch like this. You know,
That's where I
and
think.
considering IWC sells a watch like this for like $5,000. You know, it's
I
hard to
think
tell
that
that it's.
that's where Timex really gives you great value because they're going to give you a
Mm,
good product for a great price, but you still get a heritage that you can't get from a micro brand. Because like Timex as a
yeah.
company was actually founded in 1854 under its original name, and so you're able to
Hmm.
get some orological history. You're still able to get something affordable. You're still going to get things that look unique, and Timex is still
Can you
innovating.
actually
Yeah,
Can you actually go through a little bit of the history, just briefly?
yeah. So you may have seen it on when you're looking at Timex watches, you'll see something called like Waterbury. So like their Waterbury
Hmm.
chronographs and those lines. That's in reference to Waterbury, Connecticut, where Timex was actually founded. So they started
Right.
out as the Waterbury Clock Company in 1854. And then over time, they eventually changed names a couple times. They went to Ingersoll, which you'll still see some like old Ingersoll watches, some old Ingersoll mostly pocket watches. Then they transitioned to U.S. Time Corp. That was around
Right.
the 1930s and 40s. The very first watch to ever say Timex came in like 1950-ish, and they didn't change their name until late into the 50s to become Timex, which is really just Time Corp kind of shortened in a way. I think the guy who did it, he was inspired by Kleenex and just the cleanness of the sounding
Right.
of the name. And so Timex, Kleenex, and that's how we got what it is today.
It made it more commercial, more
Yeah.
like, you know.
U.S. Time Corp, it doesn't fit on a dial very well. But I do have a
No,
watch.
it sounds like a bank or something, or some,
Yeah.
you know, news agents, or, you know, U.S. Time Corp. It's a
Yeah.
bit corporate, isn't it? It's not.
I do have one watch from the 1950s that actually has the U.S. Time Corp written across the back of it. But
Really?
yeah,
Okay. Is that like a
it
vintage piece then?
very vintage. It has the Boy Scouts of America logo on the front, and then it has U.S. Time Corp on the back. It's the oldest watch that I have in my collection.
Wow. Are you gonna do a video on that watch at some point?
I need to. I was taking a picture of it today, and I was like, I really should like make a video about it. And I guess sharing it here first. That watch was actually kind of a mistake and kind of like kind of a fluke. And so I had been looking for older Timexes for a while. And so I'm on Reddit, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, everywhere you can find.
Yeah.
And you can typically find boxes of Timex watches just for a couple bucks. And so there was this box of watches for, I think it was $15, $20, but I had saw that watch inside of the box. And like, that was the one I was hunting for. So I bought it.
Wow.
Most of the watches didn't work. And when I got it, I actually thought it was broken because it was missing its second hand. So I winded it up, took a look, sat it to the side, and then I kept like looking through the rest of the box. And when I looked back at it, it looked like the minute hand had moved. And so then I like reset it to midnight, winded it up again, and then like that way I would know for sure. And sure enough, it still works. It's taking a licking and kept on ticking. So yeah,
that's the catchphrase, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah, because I did see a video. I did watch a video about a little bit of the history of Timex, and that's what gave me the newfound understanding and respect for Timex. So I caught that little Easter egg you dropped there.
I like to drop a little Easter eggs here and there, so I'm glad you picked it up. But yeah, no, so one of the things that made Timex famous, even before they made watches, though, they were known for making affordable products that were very durable, and then if they broke, it'd be cheap to replace them. And so that's the reason why, up until recently, most of the watches in Timex's catalog have always been under $250.
Yeah, I think I've actually got the Timex page up now because I was just going to talk to you about some of the new releases, and I seen this one. I think it looks fantastic. It's called the Expedition Time Temperature Compass.
You like that?
I don't know if you've seen that one. That looks badass, man. That looks badass. It kind of reminds me of Tudor's. What's that Rough and Ready watch called?
I know what you're talking about. It looks. I was actually looking at that watch literally yesterday because there's another brand called, is it Aries? Something like that. And there's a watch from them that looks just like that Timex. I like kind of like the rough bezel on it, all the features, and it's done in a way that's like not overbearing. Like that's one of the reasons I don't really like Breitling. I feel like they typically have too much going on their dial. I think the compass, when you're taking account, it has a compass, it has tide, it has temperature, like it has a lot going on, but it's a good looking watch.
Yeah, and it's really quite interesting as well because you can actually you press the little they're not chronograph pushers, but you press the pushers and it will give you your compass heading, or you can have like your high tide, low tide, your temperature, which I believe is just like on the case, maybe case temperature. So if you're going to measure something, you'll have to take the watch off to measure your temperature. Otherwise, you're going to get maybe your wrist temperature or something like that. But
I think it's somehow.
I do find it quite interesting.
Something about the bezel or the dial is how they do the temperature, because someone mentioned that you can take the watch off and put it in water and then do the temperature to test the temperature of water as well.
Ah, okay.
I might need to buy one of those just so I can review it and test out all the features on it. But yeah, that's a great one.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it now. It's £240 sterling 43 millimeter. It's stainless steel, isn't it? With like a kind of a gunmetal finishing, and it's got a NATO strap. It looks fantastic. It's like that's a real expedition watch. You know, it's called the Expedition for a reason, and I think that's a proper expedition watch. You know, you got like Rolex Explorer. Can your Rolex Explorer tell you the heading and the temperature and time? No, I don't think it can.
Yeah. Go play.
You know?
Sorry, my kids are bombing the video. Are you gonna say hi? Or you're gonna run away?
That's okay.
Come say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
All right, go play. Close the door, please. Close the door, please. Yeah, so from Timex line, you'll see a lot of the field watches are referred to the Expedition line. The lowest one is like the basic Expedition, which you can get for honestly $40 with the coupon code. And then there's a couple variations. So you have the High Tide. My favorite are going to be the Expedition North series and then the Expedition Field Post. The Field Post are usually around 38 millimeters, give or take 1 or 2. And then the North is typically 41 to 40, but they just came out with a 38 millimeter. Slightly different styles. The North is usually made out of titanium, but they're all excellent watches. One of them is the one that I jump out of a plane with every single time. So yeah, you're gonna get some great watches from the Expedition series.
Sorry, you jump out of a plane every single time?
Yeah, every time I jump out, I'm always wearing my Expedition North.
I've never jumped out of a plane before. I wouldn't be able to do that.
It's a lot quieter than the air than you would think.
Yeah, I bet. No one can hear you scream, right?
No, the jumping's not the hard part. It's the landing.
Yeah, I guess so. Have you seen these Waterbury Heritage chronographs? I think they look fantastic as well.
And did you look at the bracelet? The bracelet.
Yeah, I seen that you have this ingenious way to remove the links, right?
It's a quick release bracelet resizing, and not like the Tudor T-Class, but you can actually remove the links just through a pull.
Yeah, and it's only £275 sterling.
Yes.
For something with such an ingenious bracelet mechanism, which more expensive brands don't have. It's crazy the kind of value you can get from these Timexes. I'm really starting to appreciate Timex and what they have to offer.
And so when you see that watch, you see the Waterbury, because that's back, like I said, it's referencing that Waterbury, Connecticut. And sometimes on the watches, you'll see a little Easter egg. It'll look like it says "Wow," but it's actually, there's a C hidden behind it. And so what it's saying is Waterbury Watch Company. So you got to look closely. Sometimes it's on the stem, sometimes it's a logo on the dial. But yeah, you'll see, especially there's a Waterbury chronograph that has tricolor dials. It looks very similar to like a Zenith El Primero. That one.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this one now, which looks like the Black Bay chronograph.
From Tudor, yeah. Such a good watch.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at this one.
And then it comes in 2 colorways too. It also has the one with like the more gilded gold attitude as well.
Yeah. Yeah, self-adjustable bracelet. It's great. It's a great little. It's great, and it's so affordable. And like if you're in the market for like a chronograph, and you wanted the same style as the Tudor Black Bay chronos, say, some people buy homage brands and stuff like that, like San Martin, but I'm not too keen on like the San Martin route, because they just take people's genuine designs and then just rebrand them and just sell them on. But this Timex, right? Yes, it has a lot of the same styling, but what you get with this bracelet style and the extra features that they give to you at such a low cost, it's almost like, why not give them a try, rather than buying a San Martin for a few grand. You could buy this. I don't know how much the San Martins are. They're probably a few hundred quid as well, but I'd much rather wear a heritage brand like the Waterbury for Timex,
And
and
that's
have the
what like
story behind it as well.
because yeah, you get those brands, and it's really like it's a homage, but it's really like a clone mosh. They're just copying, like you said.
Exactly,
But with Timex,
exactly.
there's still the attempt to like it's clearly inspired by that, but it takes its
Yeah,
own things. It adds a little bit more to it, and then you have that brand heritage from a brand that is older than Rolex when you think about it. And so I think Timex
yeah.
is really a great value for the money.
It is great value for money, and it's a true American icon, isn't it?
Yeah, they
You
actually
know,
had a
so
watch. They used to joke about it was the watch that made the dollar famous because at one point, one third of all the watches in the world were actually Timex watches.
yeah, one
Yeah.
third of all. Wow, wow,
It wasn't
that's
until
crazy.
really the 50s, leading into the 60s, is when Timex started to lose some of its market share. And then the quartz
Uh
crisis
huh.
is really when Timex had to like rebrand itself and focus on like how to build for the future. But yeah, at one point, yeah, one third of all the watches in the world were a Timex watch.
Do you do you think that Timex could rebrand themselves to be more than just Timex? You know, like because like as much as I've been converted to Timex, I know that a lot of watch collectors probably view Timex as like a cheaper,
Yeah.
lesser brand. So you know, Timex being the American icon that it is, do you think they will ever kind of reclaim market share in that sense?
I think that they're actually making efforts with it. And so I think there's been a couple watches that have led to that. The first one,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give three. So the first one was they reintroduced the Marlin. And you'll see some new modern
Yeah.
reissues that just came out. The Marlin was the first watch in decades in which watch collectors actually looked at Timex as a brand that could offer something for enthusiasts. And so I think that was the first step. The second one was the Timex Q, which this is a variation of the Q, just the automatic version, because that was when Timex made a watch that was distinctly theirs. There's no other brand that has anything very similar to it, and it was showing that as a brand, it has its own design language that is worthy of being respected and praised. The last step
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on what you talk about is the Galley line. So Giorgio Galli is the lead designer for Timex, who's based out of Milan in Italy. And he started with the Galley S1, which was the first Timex to ever cost over $500. They came out with, I think, three in the 40 millimeters, and they came out with three more 38 millimeters. They had a lot of different colors. The next year, they came out with the S2, which is the watch that actually I got as a celebration of getting to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that was the black
Uh-huh.
dialed version. And then they finished the Galley line with the Galley S2 Titanium, which is still available on the
Mm-hmm.
website. And you have a titanium bracelet, titanium watch, absolutely gorgeous. And this was the first Timex offering that it was well over $1,000. And a lot of people did have those comments like, why would you spend $1,000 for a Timex? But when you look at Gear Patrol and Hodinkee and all these websites, a lot of them acknowledge
Can
the,
you
the S2.
can you tell me that watch? Can you tell me that watch name that you said before? That it was the Galley.
The Galley S2. If you go to watches and sort by price, it'll be the most expensive one.
Yeah, I'm just having a look here because the collections, they look fantastic.
They're absolutely beautiful. The S1 has a skeletonized case. There's just some absolute gorgeous engineering put into it. It has a minimalist design. The older ones have, I think, Solita movements. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's a great watch, a good movement, incredible design, and I think this is Timex taking its steps into that upscale market. And I think that what they're really going to focus on is that sub $2,000 range because I think it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
hard for any micro brand to really compete with Timex once they focus because of scale. They
Yeah.
already have heritage. They have like the distribution channels, and so I think that's where we're going to see Timex in the next 5 years or so.
Is Timex full American? That's the question.
No, so it was an American heritage brand. They still have a headquarters in the United States, but many of their watch assembly still occurs overseas.
Yeah, because like Hamilton is like an American, right?
Yeah,
That's a heritage American brand. But it's no longer American, really. It's more Swiss, right?
yeah. So Hamilton was bought out by the Swiss. So was Longines. What was the? Oh no, Shinola. Shinola, I think, still is based out of Detroit. There's not as many American brands because like America doesn't really have watchmakers anymore, so it's very difficult to make an affordable American watch. There's like the
Uh-huh.
AmeriQuartz that is, I think, being in Arizona. There's a brand that uses that, but there's not a lot of watchmaking industry in the U.S. right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, which ones are your favorite ones now? Are there any new releases you're looking at getting, or are there some other older models that you want to add to the collection?
I just bought a new one last week, and you can see it on the website. It's sold out this week. It's the Timex collaboration with the Bespoke. You can still see it on the website in the collab section, but it's sold out now. Bespoke is I believe, an American clothing company that kind of makes a Americana traditional, everyday carry type, collared shirts, blue collar type style.
Uh,
The watch actually is a reinterpretation, I would say, of a 1970s version of a Timex. Um, I love it because it has a lot of different colors on the dial. So there's black, there's yellow, there's white, there's red, but it's very sleek still. It it
mm-hmm.
says a lot the more you look at it, but it's not distracting. And
Yeah.
so that's the newest one I added to the collection. But I probably have over 160 watches now, and so
Wow.
I've tried to slow down my purchasing just a little bit so my wife doesn't kill me.
You and I have the same problem.
Yeah.
So,
What about you? Now
do
that you got the first Timex, is there any that you have questions about?
well, I really want the collaboration with the peanut.
Uh,
Timex chronograph.
okay. That one's a good one. That is it sold out? I imagine it's sold out, isn't it?
I put myself down to notify me when it's back because it's always out of stock.
I'll keep an eye out for you to help you find one.
But there it is. There it says out of stock. Notify me. So I'm just looking at it now, and this one. Let me just load it up.
Now, all right. Here's another history question. Do you know the history between Snoopy and watches?
Look at
Oh,
that. Look how cool that looks.
it's such a good watch. I think I have two. I have two of the Chronos. I have the black and white without Snoopy, and I also have the reverse. I have the all black with the white subdials as well.
I do not know.
All right, so it goes back to the space race with NASA. So when NASA was looking to get kids interested in the space race, they used Snoopy in some of their early commercials and some of their early advertisements. And so even today at
Ah,
NASA, the employee of the year gets the Snoopy award. And so in
so that's why
continuation
the
of that
Snoopy
too,
award.
and every NASA flight, and actually I think all astronauts, they have a zero gravity device, which is something that they keep in the
Mm-hmm.
cockpit so that they know they hit zero gravity. So for American astronauts, they always keep a miniature Snoopy, and so that's how they know that they've hit zero gravity. And so Omega kind of helped popularize it with some of their moon watches referencing the space race and then
Mm-hmm.
the quest of the moon. And then from there, you've had other brands adopt uh, the Snoopy theme for any kind of watches that have been to space. While the Q, which that watch is based on, did not go to space. Timex has had watches that have been space certified, particularly the Data Link. The Data Link was one of the very first smartwatches, which came out in the 1990s.
When this Q Timex looks so much better.
I tried on a Moonswatch and I was like, this feels cheap. Like when you get your hands on the Q or you get your hands on a Waterbury chronograph, like it's a durable, it's a great watch. Like you can actually wear it every day, unlike a Moonwatch. But Moonwatches come in cute colors. Mm.
It just feels like humble. Like, why did I do that when I could buy something so much better looking?
Listen, when you buy the watch, make sure you let Timex know that I help send you there, because I'm one day they gotta hire me as a spokesman. I'm trying to sell the brand out to people to let them realize that Timex is a much better value.
Well, you're doing a good job because you converted me. I before I'd be like, oh, Timex, like, I only like Swiss brands or big brands, and like I was a bit more pompous. But then I was like looking into it and thinking, wow, actually, there's some really great watches. Personally, I think the name put me off really looking into it, because for me, Timex, it kind of sounds, I don't know, it sounds a bit like a non-brand. It just sounds like a word, like a thing, And I'm always turned on or turned off by a watch's name.
Mm.
That kind of like speaks to me. These micro brands, when they're naming their watches or their watch companies, I don't. Sometimes I completely write them off if they haven't got the name right. If the name doesn't like hook my ear, ring my ear, then I'm like, it just sounds a bit naff. And I always thought that about Timex, because I was like, oh, Timex, it sounds like, I don't really know what it sounds like. It doesn't sound like anything heritage. It just sounds like the word time X. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't have anything bringing me into the space, and, telling me about the Waterbury Clock Company and stuff makes me realize that it's just a name, and there's more to it than the name itself.
I think when people don't know the history of the U.S. Time Corp and they don't understand the heritage that Timex has, it gets lost. And I think for many people too, because in some ways Timex has been hurt by their own success. The Ironman and the Easy Reader are some of the most successful watches in the world, because they're cheap, they're reliable, they get everything that you need done. And so people think Walmart watch, they think something that you can buy at the grocery store or a gas station, without taking that extra step to know that there's so much more to the brand. And for me, that's why I love it.
Yeah.
Because I go to people and I go to a watch space and they say, "Oh, what do you have?" And I have a Timex, and they're like, "Huh." And then they see it and they're like, "Wow, I didn't expect that." There's a lot more to meets the eye. And so that's one of the reasons I love the brand so much, is because like once you dive into it, you just fall in love and you start to realize how much history it has and great value.
Yeah, fantastic value, because like I could build an enormous collection for the price of this one watch. I could build a massive collection, or just have one watch. It's entirely up to you, and I feel that getting the value in a brand that wants to give you quality for less quantity of money. It's a no-brainer. I don't know how they keep the costs down. Is it the movements?
I think that close the door, baby. I think it's a couple things. So I think typically for their lower end movements, that's gonna help save a lot of the money there. I think just the sheer scale Because like when it comes to the actual output of watches, there's not many watch brands. You know, Casio, Seiko, and Timex are
Mm,
probably going to be three of the largest producing in sheer quantity of watches. Um,
mm.
and I think, and I, you know, I've never seen the metrics, but like there are a few just essential pieces that are just they carry it. The Iron Man, like the Timex Iron Man, is one of the most common watches in America. I don't know what it's like on the other side of the pond, but like whether it be athletes, it be students, it be kids, it be people just going to the gym, like it's just a super easy, reliable watch. One of the things that actually hurts them though is the reliability of their watches. Are like you don't really need another one. You know what I mean? So it hits a market of
Yeah.
people who just want to watch and don't have to think about it. But I think that they're trying to go towards more of the enthusiast market now, and I'm interested to see how that plays out over the next couple years.
I'm gonna have a look now at the Iron Man. Ah, right, okay. So the Iron Man is like Timex's G-Shock.
Yes. So
Yeah,
it
that's what it looks like.
it came out. So it used to be called the Marathon, and it was designed to be one of the
Uh-huh.
first watches for runners. Then Timex was looking for a new way to brand the watch, and so they took like an experimental set down to the Ironman in Hawaii, and it sold out instantly. So after that, they were like, "Hey, let's rebrand this." And so they rebranded it in name of the Ironman, and they were actually the one to offer the first cash prize for the Ironman World Championships. That's what not only helped the race become popular, but made the watch become popular as well.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks solid. It looks solid.
It's also a lot
Like
smaller.
it's meant for like this one is a 44 millimeter Iron Man.
Oh, you get the big one, yeah. They have different sizes.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
like them because they sit under the cuff a little bit more. They're just a little bit lighter weight. They now if you
uh-huh.
look at the Flicks is it to me that is the best digital watch you can find. You're gonna get it.
Yeah, this one I'm looking at is the Flix reissue.
Yes. Now, are you looking? There's the kind of like the gray base, and then there's also the black one. There's actually a secret one.
Well, they're both like
Yep.
this. They're both like this.
Okay, so there's actually two more colorways. There's an all
Right.
gray and
Okay.
there's an all black one. If you click on the one with the orange lettering, you might be able to see it. But that's the all black one, and then there's an all tan one, but that one's only available in certain countries.
Yeah, because here you go. Yeah, there's an all black one that gives me a new colorway.
Mm-hmm. Another website that is interesting to look at Timex is Timex Japan. Because Timex Japan, while
Oh yeah.
associated with the brand, they actually have different watches on their website. But yeah, you'll see that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So this one here, you've got your. Oh right. So it's got like your stop start on these little button pushers at the bottom.
Yep. And then what it doesn't mention though, it it has 100 lap memory. It can keep the average lap, the fastest lap, and the slowest lap.
Yeah, this one's called the Flix 100
Yeah.
lap. So it can save your times. Yeah.
It also has a memo feature that you can leave a little small message to yourself in there.
Oh yeah.
It's an incredible watch
Interesting.
for the value.
It's 85 quid.
Yeah.
That's way cheaper than G-Shock as well.
Yeah. You're getting an amazing value, an amazing watch, and like, yeah, for an affordable price. And that's the watch that I used when I went
Yeah.
through Army Ranger School. So I've taken it in swamps, I've taken it up mountains, I've taken it through the desert, and it, like it says, it takes the lick and keeps on ticking.
Yeah.
I will say though, the one
Yeah.
time
Well,
that I jumped out of a plane with it, I almost died. So I haven't jumped out of a plane with it,
Oh,
but other than the one time. But other than that, though, it's held up strong.
yeah. Well, from what I can see, it looks like a proper Iron Man. You know, it's like looks decent.
Yeah.
There's so many great watches. I'm gonna have to have a proper look through the catalog and see what there is, because here you got so many different categories, so
Mm-hmm.
many different things. So I'm gonna have to go through all of them.
Now
To
you
really see
now you need to check out their divers. They have been dropping new
the
divers over the
dive.
last couple months, and some of these divers are incredible. We're talking titanium, Japanese movements, sapphire crystal, super luminova, all for under 350. You are getting some absolutely incredible.
Speaking about divers, this new one that's come out, this Harborside Coast 44 millimeter with a
Yeah,
rubber
yeah.
strap. It kind of looks very Rolex.
It's giving that Rolex vibe a little bit.
Yeah, but it's really nice. Let me have a look at that. Let me click on that.
And that one's
95
pretty cheap.
pounds sterling.
Yeah.
95 pound. No,
Hey,
it's
and if you need an
what's not to
affiliate
like
link,
about that?
I have an affiliate link. So if you're looking for an affiliate link, I got you. Such a
Look at
clean look.
that. 95
Great.
quid.
I think it's better than the Casio
It's
Duro.
it's it's almost free. It's like they're giving watches away for 95 quid.
Hey, listen, you just let me know if you need that affiliate link. I'll hook you up.
Any watchers watching the stream or watching later on, check out my friend's channel. I always get the tongue twister with Wrist Unwound. After the stream, I'm going to put a link to his channel in the description. So if you go check backstories, maybe some affiliate links and stuff. So definitely check that out. Definitely check out his content. Does great videos, and he'll convert you too. It won't take you long to realize that Timex is more than just a kind of off the shelf Costco company. It's
Yes.
much more than that.
Mhm. Now, some other watches that you'd appreciate, not only looking at the divers, if you're into some digis, they got some new digital watches coming out and some more vintage inspired. I got some videos coming out soon, particularly some reels talking about some of these new watches. But yeah, Timex, they've been really dropping some great new releases over honestly, the last couple of years. It's just taken the watch community a little while to realize how great the content is that they're dropping. Oh, I don't think it is. I don't think that one is. I think it might be plated. Yeah, you'll see that there's some absolute gems on there. Hey, Peyton, get out of here, Peyton. Get your sister out of here. Sorry. Go play there. Hey, get out of the bag.
She told me to deliver her.
As you can tell, my kids are here.
That's not me being good.
To appreciate more quartz watches,
I'm
actually.
sorry, I can't hear you over the yelling. Close the door. Oh, what'd you say again?
I said I'm really starting to appreciate quartz watches again,
Yeah.
because when I was much younger, my much younger self, when I was buying my first watches, when I was like 15, 16 years.
Mm, mm.
It has to be this, has to be that. And then now, once you get to all dead by the time you get to wear it.
Yeah.
And you got to reset everything. You got to reset it all, and it starts to become a pain in the ass because you've got about 20 different watches all running or whatever, and then you don't wear one, it dies in a few days. This is why I don't get the fascination of the power reserves and stuff. Like, if you have one watch, then I think power reserve is a big deal breaker, because if you only got one watch, it has to last. But if you've got more than like 3 watches, that other watch isn't going to last 4 days, so that's going to die anyway.
Yeah, I think it's because of my humble beginnings, starting with Timex and starting with Quartz Rice watches. But like, I've actually thought about, if I were to ever buy a Rolex, the one that I want the most is actually the Oyster Quartz. Because to me,
I actually was looking into buying one of those vintage Oyster Quartz. It's actually not even that expensive, and you can get a little piece of history as well,
Exactly. And to me, if I saw someone with an Oyster Quartz, it shows like you not only know watches, but you're not doing it for the hype. Like, you're doing it for the love of the sport. You're doing it for the love of the game. And so, like, the idea of getting a Rolex Oyster Quartz is just kind of like on my grail list. I want to get that white Buckley dial Oyster Quartz. I looked at the gold. The gold ones are the two-tone seem a little bit cheaper, but I'm going to wait until I can find that perfect one.
Being announced and shown. I was doing a few live streams and a few things, just chatting to subscribers, and I actually said I would love if they had an Oyster Quartz and had a really high beat, high accuracy.
Yeah. Almost like that, the Grand Seiko spring drive type movements, like having that clean sweep, but that'd be awesome.
A true enthusiast would actually appreciate the quartz. And if it was like a decently priced Rolex, but still at the elevated level of like, the stuff. Quartz movement. I think we need to.
I've been thinking about starting a campaign called "Make Quartz Cool Again." You know what I mean? Just bring people back to the quartz movement, make people realize quartz is great. Maybe next year we gotta do we gotta pick a month and just call it "Make Quartz Cool Again." Just kind of sponsor quartz content.
Where it's just quartz.
You're breaking up on me. I lost you, but I know that we're both sharing our love for quartz watches, whatever it is. Oh, you still there? I don't know if you got me or not. Last thing we were talking about was quartz watches. You're back.
I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back. What I was saying is, I said we need to get some of the bigger creators to get off the high horse and start to push quartz and start to say that quartz is cool.
Maybe it needs to start with us. Start with the smaller creators. You know, we got to start the
Maybe.
revolution from the bottom up. But so now that you got your first Timex, you got to let me know when you're looking for the second one.
Yeah. Well, once this one comes in stock, this peanut one, I'm gonna buy that straight away. But I'm definitely gonna have a little look, have a little browse, and see what I can shortlist, what I can, just because this one here, this diver that you were showing me before, it's got a fantastic olive green bezel dial. But I need to see what the case material is made out of. If it was like I need to kind of have a little deep dive.
Yeah, I have the stainless steel version of that watch. It was actually a gift from Timex for Christmas gift from them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they sent me a little gift and a little note.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah. That's one thing I also love about Timex is they're known for reaching out to their fans and like just acknowledging you. And so
Well,
I'm
you're
not the only
definitely
one.
the number one fan, aren't you?
I try to be. I'm definitely top 5 for sure. There's a couple other great pages out there as well. On
Yeah.
YouTube, I'm probably number 1. Me and Watch Chris. But yeah, no, they're very approachable as a brand. I've actually been able to even message Giorgio Galli on Instagram, and he's responded. And so I just like that about a brand that you can reach out to. It's still relatable. It still talks to everyday people. Like, you could be a college kid or you could be a CEO, and like anybody can get access to a Timex without having to wait in a line with an AD and sell your first kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would love to say thank you for coming on my channel. I would love to thank you for your time because it's been about an hour and it's 12 o'clock midnight in the UK now. But yeah, thank you so much for watching me unbox my brand new Pan Am Timex. And I look forward to doing many more collaborations with you and many more collaborations with other content creators. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And I'm going to link your channel in the description. So for anyone still watching after, would love to go over to the channel, WristUnwound. I keep getting the tongue twist on that one. Definitely go check out his content. It is fantastic. He'll convert you to quartz. He'll convert you to Timex. And yeah, lovely to have you on. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, man. It was an honor being here as well. Can't wait to see you next one.
Thanks.
Right,
I'll catch you later. Have a good day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. How do I turn this off now? Up the top.